I
I
couldn't
don't
agree
know.
more, to
Like
be
it
honest with
kind
you.
of killed my mood, but it needs to be said though, you know? Like it needs to be talked about. Truth hurts.
Connection established.
This week's specials at Miles Franklin are the 1 ounce silver Noah's Ark coins, only $3.49 over spot. We also have the 1 ounce silver Trump bar with the iconic mugshot, $3.15 over spot. And last but not least, 4th ounce gold eagles, $65 over melt. Just email me, slayer@milesfranklin.com, and I will get you guys hooked up. Plus, lots of other stuff as well with great prices. I'm about to show you a clip from this week's podcast I do with Andy Scheckman. It's hard to listen to, it's sad, and most of all, it's scary. I tried to stay professional, but for some reason, what Andy was saying just hit me pretty hard this episode. I asked Andy if he too felt like something is just off right now, like something big is about to happen. Because I've spoken to dozens of you on the phone and you all agree, something isn't right. It's in our gut. So I asked Andy what he believes this thing is. And here is a segment of our convo. I'll put the full 45-minute episode in the description as well. Enjoy. You said a word. I think this word is very important. Respect. Nobody respects us anymore.
Well, that's it. How could they? How could they
Yeah.
respect us? Look at the buffoons running our White House, Biden and Harris. I mean, come on. I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. And he's pretty much gone, and she's an idiot. Listen to her speak. It's just embarrassing. They're equally as embarrassing in the way they speak. And we go around the world and we coerce and we bully. We mismanage our spending. We have open borders. We have elections that people are looking at and like, come on, are those real? We have a judicial system that is being called into question if it's being applied equally. We have all of these things. We have, these woke agenda ideologies that are being shoved down our throats that the rest of the world must look at and laugh. And it doesn't inspire confidence. It doesn't make us look like leaders at all. It makes us look completely divided and lost. And then you throw into the mix that we are completely and totally broke. At the same
Yeah.
time, we spend money that we don't have. Um, it's crazy. Then you look at, for example, like the economy. 92.5% of all the equities are held by the top 10% wealthiest Americans. So the rich get richer and the rest get eviscerated. And I think that these are things that are breaking apart the fabric of the country. And then you look at what we're doing outside the country by mismanaging the world reserve status, by creating enemies, by weaponizing the dollar, by actually saying we're going to confiscate, not just sanction those assets, use them to rebuild the Ukraine, signing executive orders to go green, doing all of these things that are making the rest of the world rally against us. And that's why you have to ask yourself, is this shit intended? I mean, could it really be intended where we do everything we can to lose the world reserve status and then destabilize the country, indebt it and destabilize it so much, create such divisiveness that we are not unified in a manner to rally against any potential black swan? And then you put into the mix massive indebtedness and unpreparedness. I mean, it's a very scary thing. I don't want to be doom and gloom, but there's a fine line
Yeah.
between pessimism and realism these days. It
Yeah.
really is.
And in my opinion, I feel like Trump is the only one that has the experience and the connections to maybe get that respect back. And the country's trying to make sure that does not happen. Didn't he just get banned from a state or that state won't be allowed to vote for the election or
Yeah, that was
something?
Maine. It was a unilateral
Maine.
decision
Yeah.
made by the Secretary of State, I believe. But whatever it was, I mean, this person does not have the ability to do this. It's a joke. It's truly a joke. It's making a mockery of our democracy. And he wasn't even convicted on insurrection. And anyone who believes he was involved in insurrection, I mean, come on. It's crazy. And that just goes to show how gullible and naive this
Yeah.
country truly is. And yet all of these things the Biden family has done, these horrible, horrible things, selling away state secrets or getting paid from China and from Russia and all. I mean, it's just completely
There's
brushed
way there's
under the rug, and it's just crazy to me. It's just it's absolutely crazy, and this is why you have what amounts to a civil war on your
yeah,
hands. You have half of the country hates each other, and the other half hates the other half. I mean,
yeah,
it's a situation that is very un-American, and that is why the Communist Manifesto would say divide and conquer. So it's done on two fronts. You know, we've already destabilized and indebted this country so much that it would be easy to topple them over. Our military is spread thin all around the world. Our munitions are being depleted, you know, and we've lost credibility and confidence with most of our um, foreign creditors
yeah,
who have allowed us to live well beyond our means. I mean, all of these things are converging at you, as you were saying, at once. And I think if you don't notice it, you're not paying attention. Now, what does it mean? How's it all going to play out? I have no idea. But I have a feeling it will come to the detriment of this country as being the dominant player in the world. And ultimately, I think that's what they're trying to do because they realize, you know, that there is no way out of this without some sort of a reset. And it's a lot easier to reset when you blame someone for creating
yeah,
the problem rather than falling on the sword for your own, you
yeah.
know, mismanagement.
Especially with an election coming as well.
You see what they're doing to keep Trump off the ballot. I mean, it's like they don't want an election and they
Yeah,
don't want this. They want to maintain status quo. And that's why I think it's scary to think what would the probability be of some event that could actually delay
yeah.
or postpone or cancel an election. Now, that's never happened before, but it just
It
seems
wouldn't be.
everything that's happening
Yeah,
nowadays has never happened before.
yeah. Like as a father, like it's it's like sad. Like it's really sad.
I
I
couldn't
don't
agree
know.
more, to
Like
be
it
honest with
kind
you.
of killed my mood, but it needs to be said though, you know? Like it needs to be talked about. Truth hurts.
I
Damn.
could not agree more. I could not agree more. And I think that, you know, when I look at a lot of the things I talk about, it's through the lens of being a father of three kids.
Yeah.
And that's the scary thing. This isn't about getting wealthy. This is about getting out of the way of something that's not going to be great. That's coming our
Yeah.
way. And
Yeah.
I hate being pessimistic, but there's a fine line between it and realism these days. And you know, I'd rather be able to get out of the way of what's coming than to and even potentially thrive, not just survive, than have be completely and totally blindsided by it.
Yeah. Yes, we're genuinely trying to help people protect themselves. Like I was talking to this guy on the phone yesterday. Great. Like I've met so many great people, man. And we're just talking. He's like, it's like I have so many wealthy friends, but he's like, they just don't get it. It's like, they don't get it. They won't listen to me. And it's just and he's like, I'm not they think he's trying to like sell them something or and he's like, sometimes
That's
people
been
just
my
genuinely,
reality my
yeah,
whole life. And because when you are talking about these things, you are speaking to, you know, unpleasant times rather than prosperity and good times. You're speaking about preparedness for something unpleasant. And that's why people don't want to hear it. I get
yeah,
that. It's a noble endeavor to want to help people, but you know, they'll come calling, but not until it's far too late. And but that's just the way it goes. Everyone called Noah a fool, and then you know everything flooded, and he got away safely. Well, you know what's going to happen to the people who delegitimize all of this stuff is that they're going to be the ones that are hurt the most. And
yeah,
you know, I again, and that's why I think when you talk about buying gold and silver, you make it known this is not about becoming wealthy. This is wealth that has outlived everything the world's ever thrown at it for 5,000 years and is being accumulated at levels by the most elite and well-informed traders on the globe, the central banks, at levels the world has never seen. What more do you need to know? You know, gold reclassified, the only other tier one reserve asset. India importing, 400 million ounces of silver over the last 2 years, and record central bank purchases not only of precious metals, but of rare earth metals and of all the soft and hard commodities. And it's happening if you look, and all of these deals that are being struck outside the dollar, it's all happening. Then you add into it all the stuff we talked about here in the States, it becomes that much more concerning, that we're not prepared for what's coming. And in fact, when you talk about a cultural war, which I think we are in the midst of here in this country, you throw into it economic turmoil or a real big financial crisis. That's when these cultural wars become really big problems, because they're scapegoating and blaming, and with the lawlessness and the lack of respect for authority that we already see, that's just not a good mix. It's
Yeah.
not a good mix for when all hell breaks loose. So I hate being this person to say all of these things, but if you don't notice it, then I think you're not doing yourself or your family a favor. There are people relying on you to
Yeah.
give them the truth. I spend 2 to 3 hours a day, 7 days a week, every day researching,
Yep.
to give a few things to talk about every day. And
Yep.
I think it's important. And
Yep.
I'll do my best and be as transparent as I can to run shotgun with you. I think 2024 is going to be a very interesting year. And that's the Chinese curse. May you live in
Yeah.
interesting times. So I'm very honored to sit here with you, shotgun, and look forward to watching the world unfold together
Yeah.
in what will probably be the craziest years, a year of both of our lives, all
Yeah.
of our lives.
Yeah. Yeah, and remember everyone, Slayer at Miles Franklin. I got you guys. I'll talk to me on the phone, email, whatever. I'll make sure to, get you guys hooked up. And yeah, also make sure you subscribe because I do post daily. So
I think we should
anyways,
do
yeah,
some live
yeah.
streams this year too, and I
Oh,
think it's good to get people, you know, more of a communicative
yeah,
um,
yeah.
situation where we're answering questions and building a community, because that's part of the challenge here is we are so divided here, unfortunately, now, that building a community, finding people of similar mindset
That's a good
is
point.
a good way to help build this community, help us weather whatever it is that is coming. So doing the live streams is something that I'm totally up for, and talking to people is something that I enjoy quite a bit.